Welcome to Catch and Go. In today's telecast, we're going to do part 2 of the title called A World Rattled by a Living God. PowerPoint number 1, the book's open. PowerPoint number 2, you write August 19, 2025, which is today, and at 12:19 p.m., God said the seals. PowerPoint number 3, orbit. PowerPoint number 4, God spoke again at 12:40 p.m. and God said the constellations in the stars will fall from the skies. And then he went on to say Wormwood. PowerPoint number 5, and I need to stop for a second and put my pen down back quickly, automatically, instantly, seconds into this video when I was giving you PowerPoint number 4 that God spoke a second time at 12:40 p.m. God said the constellations will fall from the sky. And then he went on to say Wormwood. The Lord then immediately came and spoke and said and showed me also in the realm of the spirit the word rapture. We are about to be raptured. And God said to me a second thing. And this is how quickly God is speaking in this telecast. And the whole world needs not only to listen to this telecast, because God is sending his final warnings in final invitation that the rapture is going to take place. Not only the rapture, but God said a second thing, and what God said was this, that now he will begin to prepare his immovable army, an immovable, unshakable, in-time remnant. In the grace of God said a third thing, that he is sounding the alarm. PowerPoint number 5, wedding feast, wedding supper, the feast of trumpet. PowerPoint number 6 is the sound of the trumpet. PowerPoint number 7, Revelation chapter 8 verse 1. PowerPoint number 9 is the mark of the beast. PowerPoint number 8 is the rainbow. PowerPoint number 10, God spoke also when I was meditating upon the word and preparing not only this message, but before that, I was listening to one of my telecasts. And immediately, God changed the entire scope of my entire day, my entire preparation, and God began to give me revelation concerning the time and season. And I want you to go ahead and tell your brothers and sisters, God not only changed the entire day of not only his seer and prophet and plumb line to the nation, and God began to speak to me to do part 2 of this title called A World Rattled by a Living God. And God, in part 1, we spoke from Revelation chapter 9. We also spoke from Revelation 6. We also spoke from Revelation chapter 5. And when I was laying this message down, the Lord also, before I begin to lay down PowerPoint number 1, which was the books open, God said to me, Revelation chapter 14, and you need to prepare, because the moment of truth is coming, where we're going to see the 7 seals. God's going to open up the Lamb's book of life, the book of remembrance. And what I want you to understand, the moment of the great separation, where God separate the sheep from the goat. And the Lord showed me in the realm of the spirit. He didn't speak. He showed me these words, the left behind. Now, PowerPoint number 10, I believe, because I said PowerPoint number 9 was the mark of the beast. PowerPoint number 8, the rainbow. PowerPoint number 10, 11th hour. God spoke as I was also preparing this message. God said, the 11th hour, the establishment of the revived Roman Empire, and God removing the saints and believers. And what you got here is the sound of the trumpet in the start of the 7-year tribulation period, and the antichrist coming on the world stage. Because just recently I did a telecast where the grace of God said, and not only had me channel it, God's divine revelation when it comes to the Gaza Strip. And the Lord not only spoke concerning the temple, concerning the Dome of Rock, and concerning Zechariah 12:3, which he just showed me, Jerusalem turned into a trembling cup. And the grace of God showed me this word. He didn't speak it, chaos, and showed me another word, confusion. Not only chaos and confusion, but the grace of God showed me a third word, and that was the scattering. PowerPoint number 11, Earth's final days. And not only the final days of civilization, God is sending a stern warning that he is about to close the chapter to civilization and all of humanity. And the Lord showed me in the realm of the Spirit this one fraction. He showed me 1/3 of mankind being completely wiped out from the face of the earth. And if you go and listen to part 1 of this title called A World Rattled by a Living God, this is part 2. Remember, I said that God spoke from Revelation chapter 9. So I want to continue and say to you and have you write some other things on your paper and on your notes. And one of the things that I want you to write down is that God is confirming. God is revealing his forecast. God said to me this word, and I wrote it down. You need to write down the moment of anticipation. That one, you put an exclamation mark and you circle the moment of anticipation. Where last week or a few days ago, the Lord began to speak to me as I'm getting ready to do not only the title, God's divine revelation when it comes to the Gaza Strip. God began to speak to me, I believe a day before that, in doing that telecast in that title, God said the word appearing. And we all need to prepare because Jesus is about to clear the clouds. So on your paper and on your notes, write God's confirming. Not only God just said these words. When I went on to say that God is confirming, the word of the Lord came to me and God said he is confirming Daniel 9 verse 24 to 27. God said the covenant with many. God is speaking loud and clear in this part 2, A World Rattled by a Living God. And remember my title, April 2023 and the year 2024, the year that changes the face of life forever and changes the world forever in a rude awakening. And the glory of God is saying that he watch what the Lord said. And the word of the Lord came to me a second time. And God said this, that he, since old ancient time, he alone stand and he reigns. And God not only reign, he stands alone forever. There's no end to his kingdom, no end to his government. And he said unhinged, and he said his word is unchained. God is declaring not only that he's confirming that what we're going to see is Daniel chapter 9, verse 24-27, because I said to you, PowerPoint number 4, when the grace of God spoke a second time, as I was laying down my message and preparing and meditating upon the word of the Lord, the grace of God said that at 12:40 p.m., God said the constellations, he said Wormwood, and then when I said that to you, not only a few minutes ago, the Lord said the rapture. Let's go to PowerPoint number 1, the book's open. And God is simply sounding the alarm. Not only saying the third thing that the word of the Lord came to me. God said that everyone, we all need to go back in reverencing God. Not only we need to reverence God, we need to fear God. We need to go back to being God-fearing men and God-fearing women, because God said what's going to happen. He's going to establish the 11th hour, the revived Roman Empire, but he's going to remove the saints and believers out of the earth. Another thing that as I was preparing, the grace of God reminded me what it says, not only in Revelation chapter 9, Revelation chapter 5, Revelation 7, Revelation 8, when the grace of God is saying very clear from Revelation chapter 9, God is speaking concerning the Euphrates River. Not only the Euphrates River, but that one beast. And not only that one beast that comes out of the bottomless pit. Because I'm going to read to you what it says in Revelation chapter 9, verse 11. And they had as king over them the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in Hebrew is Abaddon, but in Greek he has the name of Apollyon. Then in verse number 12 says, one wool is past, behold, still two more wools are coming after these things. Then verse number 13, then the sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the four horns of the golden altar, which is before God, saying to the sixth angel who had the trumpet, release the four angels who are bound at the great river Euphrates. And verse number 15, so the fourth angel, who had been prepared for the hour and day and month and year, were released to kill a third of mankind. And I said to you a couple of minutes ago that the grace of God showed me 1/3 of mankind being wiped out. Could God be not only revealing his forecast from Revelation chapter 9? Could it be that God is not only revealing, but in this anticipating moment, in the anticipation where the world is put on notice, where the grace of God is sending final warnings, and not only his final appeal and final invitation, the moment of the great separation, the moment where we're going to see where the books are going to be opened, the Lamb's book of life and the book of remembrance and the books of works. And the glory of God is saying that we, all the saints, he's showing me the word saints, that the saints are about to drink from the golden chalice cup and graduate from the bema seat. I put my pen down for a second time, I believe. The grace of God said and showed me in the realm of the spirit the word saints. And he said the saints and believers are about to drink from the golden chalice cup. And I said over and over, and God opened the window now and showed me that great cloud of witness, the celebrating, the rejoicing. I see them all clothed in white. I see them jumping. I see them not only jumping and dancing, clapping, and then behind them there is an angelical with a trumpet in his mouth. Look what the Lord is doing. He is taking me now into this vision. He opened the window, showed me the great cloud of witness. And I told you, the first thing that I saw, that they were jumping. They were all in white. They were celebrating. And behind was one, an angel with a trumpet in his mouth. And what you're going to see is PowerPoint number 5, the wedding supper, the wedding feast, and the feast of the trumpet. And PowerPoint number 6, the sound of the trumpet. This is part 2 of the title called A World Rattled by a Living God. We see here in Revelation chapter 9, I've already read verse 11, in 12, in 13, in 14. And the grace of God is sounding the alarm and not only making it very clear that according to what his word says, that according to verse 18 of Revelation chapter 9, it says, by these 3 plagues, a third of mankind was killed by the fire, in the smoke, in the brimstone, which came out of their mouths. I want to make this very clear, that the grace of God is speaking also concerning Revelation 18, that there is going to be 3 different plagues. But remember, there is going to be also the 7 final plagues. And I want to make that very clear. God is speaking loud and clear that there is going to be 1/3 of mankind completely wiped out. Because in this title, God went on to say what? The scattering moment. And I have said over and over, there is a scattering moment. And God said these words. He said dark, and then he said gloom and doom, and then he said darkness. 3 days of darkness. Look what the Lord is saying. 3 days of darkness. He said dark, Then he said gloom and doom. And then the Lord came out and said darkness. 3 days of darkness. And I spoke concerning that title, 3 days of darkness. And not only from Revelation chapter 12, the constellation, the woman, the child, the dragon, the rapture. And we are seconds away from God delivering and sending a rude awakening in the heavens and the earth being shaken and the constellations falling from the sky and a star called Wormwood. And then we're going to see Satan fall to the earth like lightning, because when you read Revelation 9 verse 1, you see that there it talks about in Revelation chapter 9, it says, then the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star falling from heaven to the earth. To him was given the keys to the bottomless pit. And then just as early as last week or a few days ago, God said that what you're going to see is the star from the north falling from the sky. And this is what the Lord said. And what you're going to see is the 3 unclean frogs in the start of the 7-year tribulation period. But God not only sending warnings, but he's about to seal, he's about to separate, and God's confirming, which I told you to circle that the glory of God is confirming that we are seconds away from seeing and God revealing the antichrist. But he must first reveal who is the false prophet, and God speaking from Revelation chapter 6 verse 1, the 4 horsemen. And God is making it very clear, because on August 19, which is today, at 12:19 p.m., God said the seals. And you need to prepare, because I want to go ahead and read to you what it says there in Revelation chapter 5. It says, then I saw, pick it up at verse number 2 of Revelation chapter 5. Then I saw a strong angel proclaiming with a loud voice. Say it with me. Proclaiming with a loud voice, who is worthy to open the scroll and to loosen its seals. God is declaring, God is saying, God is sending warning, God is sending his final invitation that the end of civilization, the chapter to all of humanity, that he is about to open the 7 seals, the start of the tribulation period, and that we're going to see that rider on that white horse. We're going to see the antichrist. And God said, what you're going to see is what he said just now. He said, a peace treaty. I would circle that if I was you. Let's pick it up with verse number 2 of Revelation chapter 5. It says, then I saw a strong angel proclaiming with a loud voice, who was worthy to open the scroll and to loosen its seal. And no one in heaven or on earth or under the earth was able to open the scroll or to look at it. So I wept much, the angel is weeping, because no one was found worthy to open and read the scroll or to look at it. But one of the elders said, look what it says here. One of the elders said, do not weep. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, has prevailed to open the scroll and to loosen its seal. Verse number 6 of Revelation chapter 5. And it says, and I look and behold, in verse number 6 of Revelation 5, and I look and behold, in the midst of the throne and of the 4 living creatures, and in the midst of the elders, stood a lamb as though it had been slain, having 7 horns and 7 eyes, which are the 7 spirits of God sent out into all the earth. Then verse number 7 of Revelation chapter 5. Then he came and took the scroll out of the right hand of him who sat on the throne. Verse number 8. Now when he had taken the scroll, the 4 living creatures and the 24 elders fell down before the Lamb, each having a harp and a golden bowl full of incense, which are the prayers of the saints. And they sang a new song. And you know what that song is all about. And it says, you are worthy to take the scroll and to open its seal, for you were slain and have redeemed us to God by your blood. You need to circle that you've been redeemed, you've been purchased. The moment of redemption. Redemption is knocking at the door. Redemption draws near, and the grace of God said to me and showed me, Luke 21, when Jerusalem is surrounded by armies. We know that redemption is near and redemption is knocking. And God said these words to me. We are at the threshold of the rapture and God crossing us over in this third and final crossover. Glory to God. Amen. It says you are worthy to take the scroll and to open its seal, for you were slain and have redeemed us to God by your blood out of every tribe, in tongue, in people, in nation, and have made us kings and priests to our God, and we shall reign on the earth. You can go ahead and continue to read verse 11, 12, and 13, but I want to read the last of verse number 13 of Revelation chapter 5. It says, blessing and honor and glory and power be to him who sits on the throne and to the Lamb forever and ever. Say it with me again. Blessing and honor and glory and power be to him who sits on the throne and to the Lamb forever and ever. Say it a third and final time. Say it. Blessed and honored and glory and power be to him who sits on the throne and to the Lamb forever and ever. God changed my entire day. God changed my entire preparation. And God is saying, like he said last week, remember, God said two words. He said position and prepare. And you need to be prepared and in position to go up in the rapture. And when I said that, something dramatic and so impacting that God did. Let me say that. When I said position and prepare, and I said be prepared and position, all of a suddenly something impacted. And God began to flex. And God not only began to flex, but God began to show me that we are going up in the rapture. And the Lord is showing me an angelical with his wings spread. The glory of God is saying that he's got a golden sickle in his hand. And God is speaking from Revelation chapter 14. God is sending warning concerning those four falling angelical beings. Not only those four angelical beings that are down in the Euphrates River. God is speaking not only from Revelation 16, those three unclean frogs. And God is saying loud and clear, you're going to see the three unclean frogs at the same time on the earth during the 7-year tribulation period. You're going to see the antichrist, you're going to see the false prophet, and you're going to see Lucifer, all three in operation on the earth. That's why God has been reaching out extremely, making special appeal to all of civilization and all of humanity. This is what he said, to get your act together and to run back to your first love before it's a little bit too late. And God opened the window and he slammed shut the door. God sounding the alarm. But God not only has taken my whole day and changed this entire day, because I had no clue that I will come to a point where I would stop for a second and not only hit and turn that TV on and go to where God took me, to that title, A World Rattled by a Living God. And God is about to rattle civilization. And God said to me, watch what he said. God said to me, a major earthquake. Circle that. A major earthquake. And God said, and those four angelical beings that are down in the Euphrates River, those four fallen angelical beings, he said, are about to be also released on the earth. We are near and closer to the end of civilization, but more than ever, closer to the rapture. Let me continue. PowerPoint number 8, the rainbow. And God has been speaking concerning the rainbow. But God had me to write down also, because in part 1 of this title, God spoke from Revelation chapter 8, verse 1. It talks about when he opened the 7 seals, there was silence in heaven for about a half hour. You see, we are about to witness one of the most greatest and most prolific moments ever on earth. But when I say we are about to witness, not the saints and believers, that are going to go into rapture, we're not going to be here. Those that are going to be here left behind is going to witness one of the greatest moments of civilization. You're going to see that when he opens the seventh seal, there was silence in heaven for about a half hour. That's Revelation 8, verse 2. And I saw the seven angels who stand before God, and to them were giving seven trumpets. Then you can go ahead and continue to read, because the grace of God says in his word in Revelation chapter 8, verse 6, it talks about in Revelation 8, verse 6, so the seven angels who had the seven trumpets prepared themselves to sound. We're about to hear the sound, and God showed me and flashed to me Joel 2, verse 1, and then we're going to cross over. I said we have already crossed over to Joel chapter 3, verse 2, where they will divide the land in the fall of 2025. Is it possible? Is it possible, I'm saying, that they will confirm a two-state solution? And all you need to do is look up, because at that moment, God's wrath will descend. God will stretch his hand out. And God said not too long ago, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, God said that he will now judge the nations. And the nations are going to feel the wrath of God in God's judgment. So you see here in Revelation 8:1, everything goes silence in heaven for about 30 minutes. You see in verse 6 that the seven angels were already prepared, circle that word, to sound the trumpet. And what I want to say to you, that we are inches away, not only from what he's showing me from Revelation 4, not only from Revelation 4, he's showing me Hosea 6:1-3. He will revive your soul. He will restore your soul, because these are restoring moments and times of restoration. And you're going to go up in glory in the rapture and be taken up in glory. But God is speaking from Joel chapter 2, verse 1, the sound of the trumpet. PowerPoint number 9, immediately. And I believe immediately. Once the church is removed, you're going to see that they're going to force people to make a choice and make a decision and to take the mark of the beast. Then I said PowerPoint number 10, the 11th hour, the establishment of the revived Roman Empire, because God spoke at the beginning of this telecast. When I said 11th hour, the establishment, God said that he is confirming not only the covenant with many from Daniel chapter 9, verse 24 and 27. And I said PowerPoint number 11 is that the earth, it's in its final days. And then PowerPoint number 12, I said the Euphrates River. And when you look here at Revelation chapter 9, I want to go there for a minute. It said that he would torment those that did not have the seal of God. There were people who did not have the seal of God during the tribulation period. They were left here and they were tormented by this smoke of locusts that came out of the earth, but by demonic, diabolical spirits. And I said last week that the spiritual warfare has reached a whole different level. It's at its climax, the grace of God said to me. It's reached its climax and reached its peak. Not only reached its climax and peak, but the Lord went on to say and show me the word pit. Because when you read Revelation 9 verse 1, then the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star falling from heaven to the earth. To him was given the keys to the bottomless pit. Then when you go over and you take and you read verse 11 and 12, it speaks about one coming out of the bottomless pit, whose name in Hebrew is Abaddon, but in Greek is Apollyon. And God is making it very clear that God is sounding the alarm and saying what you're going to see is the removal of the saints, the great separation from where God separate the godly from the ungodly, the sheep from the goats, and we're going to go up in glory because God is about to open up the books. And not only that, but remember, in this title, there was a moment where God took me into a vision, and I saw that great cloud of witness celebrating, rejoicing. I saw them jumping. There was celebration. And I said to you, there was one angel standing behind them with a trumpet in his mouth, pointing the trumpet up in the air, and the glory of God is simply saying, prepare to go up airborne in the harpazo, in the rapture. But I close with this. God spoke at 12:19 p.m. and God said, the seals. Then at 12:40 p.m., God spoke again and he said, the constellations will fall from the sky. He said, Wormwood. And the Lord then went on not too long ago to show me the word in the realm of the spirit, the word earthquake. There is a shaking. You saw me pause there for a second because God literally spit that word out. God is sending a rude awakening that there is coming a global shaking where God is saying to me from Hebrews chapter 12 and from different other chapters, and God is saying to me, Zephaniah chapter 3, and the glory of God is speaking loud and clear from Hosea 6:1-3, and then there's Hosea chapter 10 verse 12 when it talks about reigns of righteousness, and God said these words to me, in the righteous, in the just, live by faith. The glory of God is saying that we are now at the moment of the third and final crossover, the anticipation in this part 2 of this title, A World Rattled by a Living God. God is confirming that he's about to open the books, the Lamb's Book of Life, the Book of Remembrance, but he's about to open what he said at 12:19 today on August 19. God said the seals, he's about to open the 7 seals in the start of the tribulation period, and God said the crackdown and the persecution. And then God said another thing, the beheading. And that's why God said, save your soul from being left behind here on earth. And you find yourself here, still standing on earth and being part of the left behind, and also being here for the 7-year tribulation period. God is simply sending final warnings that God, when he spoke last week in the title, God's divine revelation, and God revealing not only the Gaza Strip plan, God is simply saying that you're going to see the antichrist on the world stage. And he said these words to me, Vatican, an Islamic figure, and you're going to see that covenant with many from Daniel chapter 9, verse 24-27. And you're going to see the saints and believers go up into glory, because I said that I did a title called 3 Arrows of Darkness, a title called April 2023, where the grace of God spoke from Revelation chapter 12, the woman, the child, the dragon, and the rapture. And you need to understand that we are simply inches and inches away from the day of redemption, and redemption drawing near. The Lord said the doors being slammed shut, Matthew 25:6, and we are going to go up in the rapture. And keep in mind and bear in mind that everyone is all in. When I said everyone is all in, when it comes to the fall of 2025, when it comes to the month of September, you need to pay attention that perhaps, could it be? Is it possible? I make no prediction, but I do know one thing, that God is sending a stern warning that we have now reached the climax of the moment called the anticipation, and the anticipating moment where Jesus will appear and clear the clouds. Because just a few days ago, the grace of God said to me the word appearing. Then he said before that, and today he also said the word confirming, that is confirming Daniel chapter 9, verse 24 to 27. And God just spoke to me concerning Daniel chapter 12, verse number 1. The saints and believers are going to go up in glory, and I leave it right here. But before I go, the grace of God said something so powerful. He said, in the archangel Michael fighting for every born again believer. Glory to God. Look what God said. In the archangel Michael fighting for every single believer. Because this is what God said. God said that when Jesus was here on earth, Jesus said that there is not a single soul that he will lose. That every soul that God has given to the Lord, Jesus went on to say that he will not lose not a single soul. And that's what God spoke just now. Before I went on to say to you what the Lord said, that the archangel Michael is fighting for every born again believer, and the glory of God said deliverance, and God said, and you need to come and have and be with great expectation. Not only have great expectation that God is about to deliver a timely deliverance miracle to your life and soul. Not only that deliverance is this, that God is going to snatch you away, catch you, and taking you away, and the catching away in the rapture. And we're going to go up and continue this celebration that is taking actually right now in paradise, where the saints and believers, that great cloud of witness that are standing there in his pavilion, are rejoicing. Not only rejoicing, but they can't wait for the trumpet to sound, because we're going to go up in glory. I leave it right here. May the Lord so richly bless you. Remember to click like, share, subscribe, hit on the bell to receive our latest telecast. And I catch you on my next telecast of Catch and Go. God bless.